I've been looking for an apartment, but I have horrible credit. Cosigning.com helps you get a cosigner that helps you out to get your dream apartment. Don't let your horrible credit get you down. Cosigning.com has changed the game. I got a cosigner quick and easy. I couldn't have asked for a better service.
I just made a short appearance on actually somebody who I follow a lot, and I always watch his content. Actually, somebody that inspires me to want to get up here and talk on a mic in front of a camera, because the way he does his broadcast is very organic, and I appreciate that. And he also says stuff that's controversial that a lot of people won't say, but they think it and they agree with it. So it's kind of like a guilty pleasure that you enjoy watching his content because he's controversial, but I appreciate good conversation. I never shy away from those. You know, one thing that he and I were talking about that I'll elaborate on some more, because there are people that had texted me who watch him that see me and they were like, you know, they agree with me on some things. We were going over if Kanye West is an idiot or not for having kids with Kim Kardashian. You know, my point to him was, you know, well, for one, hindsight is 2020, right? We've all done it before as men, where we met a woman who was extremely beautiful, but she was bad for us because she's a hoe. There's songs about you can't turn a hoe into a housewife because there's an epidemic of men who have tried to turn hoes into housewives and it doesn't work. So people have to make songs to try to convince other men to stop doing it. Now me and him and I were also talking about how the red pill movement, it turns men into incels because it goes too far away from women. See, I'm more MG Toe, right? Where I tell men that they can do better and to walk away from women. But walk away from women to a better woman, not just walk away from women in general. Because where else are you going to go? You're going to go be gay? You're going to get a guy? You're going to start fucking rubbing mustaches together and you guys can compare leg hair? Like, what are we doing? No, I'm talking about if you're with a woman and say she's older, you can find a better looking, younger version of her that's going to have less issues, that will be more appreciative of you. And guess what's going to happen? In about 5 years, she's going to turn into that same older chick that you just left. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to do the same thing you did the last time, which is you're going to leave her and find somebody who's younger, who appreciates you. Eventually, nothing's going to work forever. There's no such thing as women that are just going to love you until the end of eternity. That is a falsehood. That's not going to happen. That's why men go through divorces. People come to me all the time and say, you know, Rico, so if you're not going to get married, you're going to end up alone at 60. And I'm like, bitch, I'm probably going to end up alone. I can get married tonight and still be alone at 60. Matter of fact, you can get married at 59 on your birthday and still end up alone at 60, because depending on your financial status or what's going on in this woman's mind, she might wake up one day and decide she doesn't like the way you smell. But she wants alimony and she wants to leave you for a guy that smells different. Probably a guy she used to date that's a personal trainer. I don't know his name. Ashton Hall, perhaps, because he has. I don't have a water bottle. I don't have no Saratoga water. I don't own an ice machine. Where the fuck am I going to get ice from to dip my face in there? There's no way I can compete with him. So she can leave me for him. The point is, if it's not one thing, it's another. Instead of letting it happen to you, you happen to them. You don't let situations go out of control. You control the situation. Instead of arguing with her, instead of fighting with her to the point where you're punching a hole in the wall because you're imagining how good it would feel to punch her, you're better off just leaving her. That's my point. So in Kanye West's defense, and this is not an excuse, it's a condition. If somebody says, hey, bro, you can't sit still when you're in class, and you're like, well, I have a mental disorder where I shake. I have, cerebral palsy. Is that an excuse for the fact that you can't sit still in class? Or do you have a mental condition that causes you to shake so you can't sit still? That's how I feel about men. When we look at beautiful women, our minds go haywire. It's a condition. Now you're thinking, I don't care about her past. I just want to love her. But really, you just want to have a lot of sex with her because she's beautiful, because men are shallow. We lead with what we see. And she looks like think about it, Kanye, he tells the truth about how he used to fantasize about certain women. Then he got rich and successful, and now he has access to them. Did he know that he could not turn her from a hoe into a housewife? No, he's not from LA. I'm from the West Coast. I remember when the Dog Pound told me, Snoop told me, Dre, Corrupt, Daz, everybody let me know. So what, you found you a hoe that you like, but you can't make a hoe a housewife. Now listen, when it all goes down, you're going to find in the end, bitch is a bitch, but a dog is a man's best friend. So what, you found you a hoe that you like, but you can't make a hoe a housewife. Kanye's from Chicago. His parents, when you're from a family where your parents weren't married, that's your fantasy as a child. You want your parents to be together. I come from a married family. I don't have these delusions of what marriage is. I know what it is. Marriage is work. Marriage is more work than it is love. Marriage is more duty to the continuance of your family than it is about love. Love is probably, out of 10 things that are important in marriage, I would say love is number 10. Because love is fleeting. You know, I'll be honest with you. A couple of days ago, I swore on my life that I've never been that hungry before because I hadn't eaten in like 20 hours. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to eat. Oh, I want to eat so bad. Yada, yada. And guess what happens? Once I ate some food, the hunger went away. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want any food no more. That's how love is. You want love. And as soon as you get it, you're like, how can I get out of this shit? And the only time you disagree is when you're looking for it. But when you're in it and you have somebody that loves you and you think you love them, you understand how vulnerable you are and how dangerous it is, because these women can literally turn on you at the drop of a dime. So to say that he was at fault because think about it, Kim Kardashian was the most beautiful woman in the world, according to every media outlet 10 years ago, or whenever Kanye got with her. She actually, Kim Kardashian was voted more beautiful than Beyonce. Both of their beauty is now fleeing. Nobody's really fighting over Beyonce or Kim K no more. Kim K's actually laying down with a Tesla robot last time I checked. But Kanye West is a man. He can still go out and get women half his age that look just like Kim K, smash them to death, and he's fine. To say that he's an idiot because he had children with a whore, and that's my issue. Now, I like Mr. Lego. I like Aaron. He's a cool dude. I was not trying, just to clear this up for people who are going to see this video in the future. I was not trying to, you're going to see it because this is the video right here of me being on the show. Oh, so that's actually a really good, pretty smart concept. Yeah. You know, and first we started off talking about Kanye's outfit. And I said, I like the outfit because, you know, if you're a black in America, this thing where you have a fear of a white man in a hood, even more so than you do black people with red and blue rags on, even though they're the ones who do all the unaliving that you've ever seen in your life, came from people wearing blue and red rags. You've never seen somebody get unalived by somebody in a Klan robe. So I said, this is brilliant that he put on a black version of one, turned it around to kind of make you not afraid of it no more. It's kind of like now it turns it into an outfit or a term of like the N-word became a term of endearment. It's kind of like that. But then we go into him criticizing Kanye on having children with a, let me see here, Armenian whore.
Say their truth, say all these things of that, of what they
try to say his family. He could have just went along and did.
No, it's not wise. It's not.
And be said. See, y'all are not listening at all.
Brittany, you can turn her into a housewife. Look at Brittany Renner and yeah. Now I made a good point. I saw something that I never thought I would see. I saw Kevin Gates and Brittany Renner show up to a DDG interview. She's completely dressed modest with her hair covered like a Muslim, and Kevin Gates dresses basically how I dress, where I wear a tie, I have a blazer on, dress shoes. You know, a lapel, like he was completely wearing like a suit, looked amazing. And she was dressed extremely modest as a woman. To see two extremely known professional whores. Now I can say that because I'm a whore. So I know a whore when I see a whore. Kevin Gates, music's about being a whore. She lives a whore lifestyle. To see two people like that actually show up and they completely did a 180 in their behavior and in their appearances was just amazing to me. And what that told me is that I guess with enough pressure, it can be done. You can turn a hoe into a housewife. Maybe it is possible. Maybe I was wrong. So what I was saying to Aaron was that, and Aaron was like, well, he had children. You'll hear it. He's like, yeah, he had children with a whore because he's an idiot. And I said, but Aaron, your ex-wife's not an Armenian whore, and it still didn't work out. Again, if it's not one thing, it's another because women are children. Yeah, she's a whore, but she's also a child. So why do you expect so much from her? She has the mind of a child. You can't really expect too much. That's fail. And that's what we ended up talking about. And we both ended up coming to the same conclusion, and we actually got some common ground. But this is some of the interview.
Kevin Gates. Kanye thought he could have did with Kim K what Kevin Gates did with Britney. It didn't work out that much because Kim K is being.
Something happened to you. We can't hear you.
I said Kanye tried to do with Kim K what Kevin Gates successfully has been doing with Brittany Renner. I don't know if you've seen her come out the other day, but she has a completely new image. That was Kanye West's goal for Kim, but she's being pulled by the industry. She's not necessarily under him, and he learned that when they got married, and that's why they're not married anymore. He tried. He tried. As a man, you got to go through it the hard way to learn it. He learned his lesson.
Hold up. How many kids did this idiot have with her?
4.
Okay, so stay right there.
Mr. Luck, I gotta go. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I just wanted to throw some little spice up there. That's all. Thank you, guys.
All right. So, let's look at this from a common sense standpoint, because y'all are literally like something's wrong with y'all, or either.
What's funny is that again, everybody's going to look at things and see something a little bit different. In my situation, I look at the glass as being half full, but I'm also an understanding person. I understand that everything is not what it appears to be all the time. So I don't expect too much out of anybody. But and like I said, I'm not trying to insult him in this video. I like the guy. I'm actually, I watch all of his content. It's just that we can't judge men harsher than we would judge ourselves. Meaning that if we're going to say that Kanye West was an idiot because he had 4 kids with the wrong woman, then what about all the other women that the rest of us have children with that we're not with anymore also? It seems like we're all making the same mistakes, or are we all just getting the same results? We're all dealing with, American woman, whether she's black, whether she's Armenian, whether she's Spanish, she's Americanized. That's the common denominator that, I was going to talk to him some more about. We're dealing with American Western women. They're all the same. It doesn't matter what color they are. They all now are kind of the same. They listen to the same music. They talk the same. They use the same lingo. They're not, and they complete. And then to be one of these American Western women, even if they're from another country, once you become Americanized, you literally erase any of your previous identity. You can't, if you're a black and white mixed girl, the first thing you do is denounce being white. They hate it. And they literally just talk into victimhood and black culture. How are you supposed to have a family and build a relationship with a woman who's a victim? Eventually, you're going to be seen as her oppressor and her antagonist. You're going to be the one that she's going to blame all her problems on. It's a lose-lose situation. And he went through a divorce. So he's went through a lost situation. I've went through, God knows, I go through a breakup every 2 days with people I didn't even know I was with. So obviously, I'm also not getting favorable results. But we can't come. That's what I'm saying. We can't just judge and come down on men like it's all the men's yeah, he made a mistake because the woman was beautiful and he fell into it. But we can't just sit up here and say that makes you an idiot. It's a condition that a lot of men suffer from, where we're blinded by beauty. A woman's looks is a blind spot to a shallow man. Depending on how good she looks, you might overlook a whole lot of stuff. Depending on how good she looks, you might just sit and wait in line for her to finally notice you and come around. Some guys have been waiting to sleep with a certain woman for 10, 15 years. Since high school, he's had a crush on her. And first chance she gets, when she gets to a divorce, he's right there. Boom. Simp of the year. Super Saiyan simp. So that's my point. And like I said, I brought up his marriage just to say, hey, look, you and Kanye both got the same results. So we can't call you an idiot because your stuff didn't work out. So let's not call him an idiot. You didn't even marry an Armenian whore. What's your excuse? That's my point. I'm not trying to insult him. I was just trying to make the fair comparison. It's a fair comparison in my opinion.
There's a certain amount of cognitive dissonance, or you're trolling. So
No.
Idiot, can I finish it? This idiot has 4 babies with this Armenian whore. And you are sitting like, but
last time I checked, she's an American whore. I'm sure if he has an ex-wife, he might call her a whore. Think about it. Men don't just get divorced. He probably called her a whore too. She's not Armenian. She's an American. His ex-wife and Kim K have one thing in common. They are American Western women. We got to be honest about that. We got to point that out instead of just pretending like she's a whore from a faraway land. She's from like Calabasas or whatever.
he didn't know, but we gotta learn.
We do. As a man, you got to go through it. You can't take somebody's word for it about everything. Yeah, if somebody tells you the stove is hot, don't touch it. Okay, cool. But if somebody says, hey, that beautiful woman that wants to suck it, she's going to destroy your heart. I'm just like, man, there's a such thing as acceptable risks. I mean, there's some risks that you just got to take. Yeah, she's probably a whore. Yeah, she got a lot of bodies and stuff. And, she's probably not going to be a good mother. But if she looks good in a bikini, yes, and she wants to give you something in that bikini, you might just have to roll the dice because it could work. That's how men think when we meet beautiful women. We know she's toxic. We know she's a headache. We know all these negative things about her. We know she has a past where you might call her a whore, but now she wants to be your whore. It's hard to turn down somebody that wants to be your whore because of her past. Men we're not turning down beautiful women. We're not doing it. We can't. We can postpone it, but we can't turn it down.
You sound nuts, sir.
Wait.
With an Armenian whore. You didn't know she was a whore. And she did a sex video with Ray J, who is his friend.
So what? So wait, you can't be friends with a guy that used to have sex with your girlfriend? Like, come on, that's a lot of guys have had sex with her. You're supposed to not be friends with. So every man she's ever had sex with, you got to like mark them off on an imaginary list and make them all your enemies. Like that's not feasible. It's definitely not realistic long term. Just because somebody used to smack, you knew your woman was not a virgin when you met her. You see that's what I mean. Like if it's not one thing, it's another. Now that's an excuse for why you don't want to be with her because of her past. You're either going to accept it or not. The only time her past really is going to matter is when you're thinking about marrying her and you got to take her to the church and you got to go out with her in public and hold her hand and you don't want no man snickering at you. So that's why a lot of guys import women to other places because no one in that area knows her. But if he went to her where she's from and took her out, then it would be just a little bit too embarrassing. That's why men don't do it.
Let me make a point to you. You as a divorced man have some nerve. Your wife was an Armenian whore. You're still divorced. You are in no position to criticize any man about his relationship dynamic. You're not in a position. You don't have a successful one yourself. So you can't criticize him about his marriage. How many kids? You got how many daughters with your wife that's an ex? And she's not an Armenian whore. What's your excuse? So give him a little bit of grace. What are we doing here?
Okay, can I ask?
Now, again, I like Aaron. I'm not trying to bring up his relationship because I want to invoke an emotional response. What I wanted to do was point out to him that it's a lose-lose no matter what woman you deal with if she's an American. his wife, his ex-wife, and Kim Kardashian, which is Kanye's ex-wife, they both have something in common. They're Americans. She's not an Armenian whore. She's an American whore. If you see your ex-wife with a new man, you're going to call her an American whore too. So and that was my point of that, is that we can't judge other men who are basically going through the same thing that we're going through. None of my relationships have worked out either. I'm not married. So I'm at 100% failure rate also. Just like Mr. Let Go, Kanye, out of all three of us, is the only one that is currently married. He's the only one in a successful relationship right now because he's married. Marriage is the peak. It's the pinnacle. That's the goal. No matter what you do, the goal is always supposed to be marriage. Kanye, out of us three, is the only one that can say anything. We can't judge him because how would we know? We haven't been able to successfully do it. We're both going through breakups. So I wasn't trying to criticize him or say anything. I was just actually trying to point that out. That's all. That's it.
Your question? You're just babbling. Can I ask you a question? First of all,
very coherent English.
Something's wrong with you, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm okay with having sex. I mean, having a conversation with.
Hey, Cameron and Mason are on here, but no, it was just a funny slip of the tongue. But again, when it comes to women, unfortunately, it's eventually it's going to be a lose-lose. You have to be prepared to leave it behind and move on. My advice is always don't get too attached, because soon as you get really, really attached, you're going to find out that somebody else is dealing with her, and it's going to break your heart, and then you're going to want to fight. You're going to want to hit. You're going to want to get violent. And I encourage men to walk away from women, not to fight with them. There's a big difference. There's a huge difference.
People who don't know what the hell they talk about. I have no problem with that. So you're deflecting. I'm not even going to mention or respond to you about my marriage because that has nothing to do with nothing. You're trying to use that in order to incite emotion in me to make me feel defensive. And I don't fall for goofy shit. So I'm not even going to respond to that because that's not even your fucking business because you're having a conversation with me. Okay?
About Kanye.
About Kanye. So let's talk about Kanye.
Now, the way I operate in the world, right? I cannot talk about somebody unless I'm also I can't be above reprieve where I can't be judged, but I can judge other people. No, if you're going to talk about somebody, be prepared to talk about yourself as well, because you got to be able to show that you know what you're talking about. The reason men listen to me and the reason that in real life, and I'm not necessarily a big person on the internet right now or anything, but in real life, everybody knows me. I always have multiple girlfriends. That's not very uncommon. What's uncommon about me is that all my girlfriends know each other. They hang out with each other in sequence. We're all in sync. This has been my lifestyle for the better part since probably about 2010, right? I've been living like this since March of 2010. I remember the month. It's because the girlfriend I met, she became my partner. Me and her did it together for years. And then after her, I walked away and got me another girlfriend to do it with. And when that became a problem, another and another. It gets to the point where it's kind of like you're still with the same woman. She just changes her name and her looks, but she's still the same person. And that's how I kind of look at it. So because of that, and because of my success and my recorded success and my consistent success with women, men listen to me and they ask me certain questions, and I try to give them the best advice possible. The best advice I give men is not focus on your money, focus on working out all the time. No. Those are good things. You always want to be successful. You want to be stable. You want to be healthy. You want to be able to move around. But my advice for men is it's mental. It's mental. You have to be, when they say only the strongest survive, they're talking about mental strength as well. It takes a very strong mind to understand a woman and to be prepared to leave her and not get too attached. Every woman is not Princess Diana or some perfect woman, and you're just always the bad guy. You need to do right and happy wife, happy. No. You have to focus on yourself, your happiness too. And when it becomes a problem, you have to walk away and walk to another woman You have to go find another woman. I'm not saying be an incel, focus on yourself, stay home, don't touch anybody. That is pointless. That defeats the whole purpose of life. The purpose of life is to work so that you can so you can afford to deal with as many women as you need to. It's not, you're going to have to, it's a lot of eggs got to get cracked to make an omelet. And then you got to find out the woman that you want to have children with. But even that situation, she can say one thing when you guys are in that situation, and then she can change her mind the next day. You do not control her. That's the kind of mental strength that I'm talking about. The strength to understand and to acknowledge that, which is pretty much impossible for a lot of men. They can't understand that they don't own women. And when they find that out, that they don't own her, she can do whatever she wants, they lose their minds. So that's why it seems like Kanye West lost his mind, but really he's just going through the same thing the rest of us go through, which is dealing with American women will drive you insane.
Kanye, don't. Okay.
We can't judge other men.
We can judge other men. Okay. So
And we can be judged.
I didn't say you can't judge me. I said I'm not a part. My life is not a part of this conversation. Because if I had 2 kids with an Armenian whore, then you would have a stamp to bring my shit in here. You know I had sex. You literally said I did not have sex with an Armenian whore. So why the hell is my marriage having to do with this? You don't get a point that I'm in here. No, you're like a woman, sir. Well, you was married. Okay, was she an Armenian whore? No.
And it's still my work.
You can't talk at the same time, sir. So I did not have sex with I did not have children with an Armenian whore. So that's one thing. I didn't have sex with a white woman. That's another thing. Now I'm not complaining about my baby mama. So none of what you said.
Race doesn't matter. Your baby mama is the same as a white woman, just with a tan. She's likely Christian. She speaks English. She lives in the United States. There's no difference between her and a white woman, because American culture is the underlining culture of even black culture. So they're pretty much the same. It's not like you guys have to speak a different language and you don't interact and you're kind of like in your own separate niche. No. It's a very integrated society. And I believe he's in Atlanta, and there is no segregation. People are still integrated. So whether she's black or white doesn't make a difference.
Saying to me has anything to do with this freaking idiot. Okay, you're saying stuff in order to prove some goofy point you have about Kanye West.
The audience actually agreed with my point. The comments agreed with the single boyfriend Rico. They agreed with my point. I made a clear point. It's not necessarily it might not have been the point that he wanted to hear, because it goes against his narrative. But that's the thing. You should want someone that's going to counter you. That's when a discussion becomes interesting. If it's an echo chamber, nobody wants to listen. So that's why I like to hear people that have a contradictory or an opposing view. We don't all have to repeat each other. Like I said, I do politics most of the time. This is just my relationship stuff. For the most part, I talk about politics and world events and whatever. But this is just my relationship stuff on the side. But him and I talking like this is healthy, because you need conversation with people that have a difference of opinion, and you see where you guys can come together and have some commonality. Even if he thinks about it eventually, no matter what, his wife or Kanye West's wife, no matter what, they both ended up in the same place: divorce.
Children with an Armenian whore, and is now walking around with his stupid ass outfit on, complaining about who he had a baby with. He's an idiot. So now, go ahead.
Tyrese also not with an Armenian whore. What does he do? Complain about his baby mama. It happens. As men, we go through it. But none of us are beyond reprieve where we can just sit up here and
two kids. He had it. Okay. So
no. Tyrese.
I don't. But remember, he had 2 baby mamas, and the first baby mama is when he was like, "Oh, what's my baby mama?" He turns around and do the same stupid shit with another woman that looks exactly like his baby mama.
don't you? Okay, can we not? Can we come to common ground that sometimes women drive us? Can we come to common ground that women drive us insane sometimes?
Now we're victims of women.
No, I'm just saying, just being in a relationship as a man
Why
sometimes.
can't we be men and stop being victims of our man whores?
It's that's the thing. It's a condition. Men dealing with women is a part of the human dynamic. It can never be seen as an excuse. That's just like somebody saying, "Hey, I need a cup of water. I'm about to die of I'm about to die of thirst or dehydration," and you're like, "That's just an excuse to drink water." And you're like, "No, I actually have to drink water." As a man, you throughout all of human civilization, you literally have to deal with women. This whole being gay and all this stuff, yeah, men were gay back in the day, but it wasn't like it is now, where we're confused about if we actually have an imaginary period where there's blood. If there's blood coming out of your penis, sir, go see a damn doctor. That doesn't mean you're on your period, and we shouldn't celebrate that on TikTok. Go get some help. Get some antibiotics. Get some antibiotics, baby. But no, again, Mr. Lego, men, just being in relationships is a lot of pressure for a man because everything is on you. Something goes wrong, everyone blames you. No one's blaming. He's not saying Kim K's an idiot. He doesn't even know Tyrese's baby mama's names. He's not saying they're idiots. Guess who everybody is falling on? The men. It's the man's fault, no matter what. That drives you insane. That's like a celebrity who's going on stage to perform. I've been on stage before. I know why people have to get doped up. Because everywhere you go, somebody might get an angle of you not looking your best, and they post it online, and the stress and the press, bro, it can drive you insane. A relationship with a woman can literally do the same. It can have an effect on your physiology, your mental health. That's why I'm always like, be strong enough mentally to walk away from that woman and start over with a new one. Now people say that's bad advice. Okay, I'm giving out bad advice for free. Take it or leave it.
Stop, bro.
No, bro.
Let's talk about Tyrese real quick. Tyrese, even though we love Tyrese is amazing. He's a part of our upbringing. But he's a cornball.
I don't like Tyrese. He's a Democrat.
Do you agree that Tyrese?
Yeah, I don't like any male Democrats. They're gay.
No matter what Tyrese is a movie star, but do you see he's a cornball? Yes, sir.
He's weak. He cries a lot, and no one wants to see him.
There you go. He can't keep friends. He has no goddamn friends. Like he got kicked off of Transformers. Then he got kicked off of Fast and Furious. He's a weirdo.
I mean, I've met him a few times. He's insufferable. I agree.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he is. He is insufferable. That's what he's a Democrat. What do the Democrats do? They lie. They make up excuses. Everything's everyone else's fault. There's no accountability. That's the whole point of being a Democrat. And unfortunately, that is that's a part, unfortunately, of the Black male culture. And when men that are Black break out of that mental psychosis, now everyone says you're not Black no more. You're this. You're thinking for yourself. You're not making excuses. And apparently, that's what it takes to be Black: is to be weak, is to be gay, is to be make excuses and not hold yourself accountable. And I'm trying to get people to get out of that by pointing it out to them, that you don't have to live like that. But when you got other people in your ear telling you that it's okay, all these yes men around, well, then you have the same results Tyrese gets. And that's what and this is where him and I actually, where we actually, our points kind of meld and we come to common ground, which I think is healthy.
Keep making excuses for idiots. So with that being said, because you brought this up and you make a great point, do you see Kanye West and Tyrese as the same stupid idiots? Yes or no?
When it comes to women, if you're a shallow man, you are the same type of idiot behind a woman. Yes, you are.
That's all I'm saying. So you brought this up and you made a brilliant point that proves my point, which makes you unbrilliant, but brilliant and unbrilliant all at the same time.
Yeah, I've been called words.
Kanye West and Tyrese are the same idiots. They do the same stupid shit. They both have emotional problems. And we sit here and look at them and we make excuses for them. These men are idiots.
I believe, in my opinion, the only difference between them two is that Kanye and his actions is righteous. Tyrese is self-serving, and he's his own worst enemy.
They're both the same person.
And Kanye's fighting for a bigger goal, and it's really to support all of us. He's not wearing that outfit for himself. He doesn't wear it in the dark. He's wearing it to represent something in front of his people. Now you're not going to be afraid if you see that hood. Remember, in your subconscious, you've always been afraid of racist white Americans wearing those hooded outfits, even though everybody who's ever done anything to anybody in your family had a blue or red rag. You're still worried about a white robe. He made you get over it, and he did a good job, I think. That's what made him brilliant. I think we froze up. Hello? I don't know if we're still alive or not. I don't know if I'm kicked or internet connection. Let me see if my internet's good. Yeah, my internet's on.
I didn't know his live was still going at this point, but yeah, he had an internet connection. And anyway, he had me and him had a conversation on StreamYard that we didn't go live on, and we made some good points, and we agreed that we'll likely do some content together in the future. Like I said, there's things that I've heard him say that I use all the time. People always ask me, where do I get the phrase women or children from? I never really tell people, but because I didn't know if anybody would know, but this is the source. I actually picked that up from him probably 2023, when I first started watching, 2023 or so. So, Aaron, I give you credit, Mr. Let Go. You're the reason. You're the source of where I got women or children from. Now, if I don't know, make it into a website and I start a whole series at women or children, and I can prove to you that women are children, then I don't know if I got to cut you in on that or not. But we can negotiate. But at least I'm making this video, and you'll be able to reference it with a date and time in case you want to sue me over it in the future. So this video is actually for historical records. And people don't watch a lot of my stuff live. It's not until I like upload it and edit it and all that stuff later that YouTube shares it. Just the live stuff. You can't just go live and all of a sudden people just populate who don't know you. That's not realistic. Anyway, this was my conversation with Mr. Let Go. I enjoyed the conversation. We're going to talk some more. But I just wanted to bring this subject up that Kanye West is not an idiot. He's brilliant. And what he did was amazing. He's fighting a war against an enemy that they've already said we're their enemy. They said young black men are our number one problem in the United States. This woman from this particular group that we're not supposed to speak about literally made that announcement, and no one said anything about it. You specifically are targeting, you're saying one ethnic group is your enemy. But if that ethnic group says you're their enemy, now they're anti-Semitic. Like what? Like how does that work? So anyway, I'll be back on in about 30 minutes. I'm gonna go have some lunch. I gotta walk my dogs, and I'll be back with another episode. We got some other topics to talk about. So yeah, just go ahead and tune in, and I'll see you guys shortly. And and follow the sponsor, cosigning.com. If you don't have a friend or a family member and you have to move last minute, and they tell you need a cosigner, and no one that you know is willing to do it, or they don't have the credit, contact cosigning.com. They'll match you with a qualified cosigner in 1 day, and help you get approved for your new home. So follow the sponsor, and I'll be back shortly. Thank you.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.